So getting into FPV or buying FPV products is a big hassle here in 2022. All the processors that we need to go inside of our flight controllers are pretty much all going into cars and other things that are a little bit more important. But luckily, there's a lot of great things that are still available out there that will make our lives a lot better. One of them is Express LRS. We're going to talk about it right now on the channel. This is the Dork Game 40 RC channel. I'm Chad, and we're gonna fly some quads today. So what's up, all my FPV fans? Sorry to my drag race fans, won't be any drag racing in this video. Flying FPV drones has always been a passion of mine. I absolutely love it, and the best thing about it is I can go right out my door and fly as much as I want. Now, in case you're new here, or maybe you're not, we'll remind you, I pretty much exclusively fly with the TBS TANGO2. I also have a TBS Mambo, Crossfire, Tracer, all that kind of stuff. Never got into the Immersion RC Go system or nothing like that. But if you look at the back here, you're going to see a Happymodel 2.4 Express LRS module. Now, I'm pretty sure all of us know what's so awesome about Express LRS. Faster packet rates, way more development, consistent frame rates, all that stuff that will help you really be a better flyer. It's been proven by some of the top pilots. Lyman, one of the Betaflight developers, the father of presets and the open racer racing frame, pretty much just proved that and said that, you know, hey, I might be able not to tell a difference all the time between 250 Hertz and 50 Hertz, but the thing I can tell is consistency, and he proved that in the Betaflight logs. So in this video, what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about some of the pros and cons of using Express LRS with the TANGO2 and how to get around them. We're going to show you how easy it is to flash this stuff. That's one of the big reasons why I got away from TBS for right now, is that the OTA programming just never worked. That's over the air. So you should always be able to upgrade your firmware on this, plug in a quad, and it's just supposed to work. And as many of you who use TBS products know, that is just never the case. It seems like every other firmware, it may work, and you end up disassembling your entire fleet just so you can press that little bind button. So I'm over it. I've been doing this stuff for too long. I want those nice little creature comforts, especially at the discount prices of Express LRS hardware, because we know it's all open source development. Now, the other attractive thing as well is with analog, and I'm not sure if it works with the HD0, they're doing other stuff with HD0, is the VTX functionality. Now, if you wired up smart audio directly to a Crossfire or Tracer receiver, you could control your VTX and everything right through your remote, through LewisScript, through the TBS Lite app, whatever. But it really was difficult to figure out. Sometimes I didn't know if I had to change it in the Crossfire or the Tango module. Sometimes I didn't know if I had to change it on the actual receiver. With the Express LRS, it's just right there in the LewisScript. It actually overrides the Betaflight OSD, so that's something important to know. So every time you fire up your quad, it is going to basically load into your analog VTX wired through smart audio what you have programmed in here. So 25 milliwatts, race 1, boom, it's going to come to it every time. If you change to 800, you unplug the pack, start back up, it's going to go to 25. So that's an important tip. So we're going to be kind of doing this in a reverse order here, because I actually already have all of my stuff flashed, and I just upgraded to Betaflight RC4, and they also have pushed out an Express LRS 2.4 update. Along with that, I wanted to make some changes. The TANGO2 itself does not like more than 250 milliwatt power with the module on the back. So I had to lower my power settings down on that. And also it does not like more than a 250 Hertz rate. That's something that we won't get, it sounds like, until TBS integrates Edge TX. So until then, I need to back things down. I noticed I was getting all kinds of little micro fail safes. Nothing that would like make the quad fall out of the air, but I could constantly see it flickering in the OSD. So we got rid of that. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do, of course, is you are going to want to go and download the actual configurator for Express LRS, and it's pretty simple. Just go to expresslrs.org, and you really can just follow this entire method here. It's really simple. So the thing is there's one little trick that you want to follow, and that's when you're flashing all this stuff for the very first time. You're actually going to, when you power on either a receiver or a transmitter, it's going to basically start broadcasting a generic Wi-Fi signal, and you're actually going to go down to your little Wi-Fi icon down here on your computer, and you need to connect to it here. And then once you connect to it here, you're going to go to 10.0.0.1. It's all inside here on how to do it. This is what I'm talking about right here. And the password is always express LRS. And then you're actually going to be able to flash the firmware. And the very important thing is when it brings up this actual page here is that you're going to want to flash the actual firmware.bin. It's going to create two files for you. It's going to create a file named firmware.bin, and it's going to create another hex file that has basically like Happymodel 2.4 blah blah blah. Do not flash that one. Always flash the firmware.bin every time, or you're going to give yourself some problems. I did that the first time I flashed my Happymodel module, and then I had to like move some pins around and put it in bootloader mode and recover it, which really was easy. It told me right to do it, just right here in the documentation. I mean, you cannot beat this stuff at all. So we are going to go ahead and flash a model right now. So I'm going to start the actual Express LRS configurator. And I just took my Open Racer quad here and updated it to Betaflight 4.3 RC4. And what we're going to do is just go ahead and start up the configurator here. And it takes a little time for the Wi-Fi to turn on. I think I have mine set to 60 seconds. So when you first turn on and plug in a battery to a wired up receiver, it's basically going to do a slow blink out of the box, I think for 20 or 30 seconds. You can set it after. The new default, I think in 2.4 is 60 seconds. So eventually after 20, 30 or 60 seconds, you're going to see a really rapid flashing light. And then what we're going to be able to do is just literally select it from the list here, because I have already flashed this with my home Wi-Fi network. So it's just going to see it on my network and allow us to flash over it. Don't worry, we'll flash one normally so you can see that too. So we just plugged in my FPV Cycle 4 ride here, and we'll pretty much just have to wait for, 20, 30 seconds, whatever, and wait for it to pop up here. And we'll go to a full screen here. Now I know inside of there, I'm going to go ahead and select release 2.4 and device category. It is a Matek. So we're going to go ahead and find Matek here, Matek 2.4. And this little beast actually has the Matek diversity module in it because it is a DJI quad and it'll fly forever. So I decided to go ahead and put diversity into the 4 ride. A little tighter of a fit because the Matek receivers are a little bit bigger than your standard Ghost, Crossfire, or Tracer receiver. So it is a 2400 RX. We are going to flash over Wi-Fi. And, here's my binding phrase. You're going to enter your binding phrase. And what that does is everything that has the same binding phrase is just going to work. So you put the same binding phrase in your controller, all of your receivers, and literally they are just all going to talk to each other. It's pretty spectacular how great this stuff works. And you can also see here that I've entered in my SSID information and my password. And if we look already, we can see that it's actually just already searched and seen that this thing is on my network already. Now remember, I've already flashed this previously. We're just upgrading it. So literally everything is checked. I have to do absolutely nothing because it remembers all of my settings. And all I have to do is just click build and flash. So it's going to reach out, it's going to compile the software, and then we're going to watch it flash here. And you just go through the logs here and you'll see that it'll start trying to flash right here. You'll see it's trying to communicate. Boom, it just communicated. Now it's transmitting everything. And it's just beautiful. Like everything literally just works. That's it. The receiver is flashed and upgraded. And all we got to do now is we'll reset the quad. You want to give it about 15-20 seconds. It says to wait until the LED quits, starts flashing slow. But literally mine starts flashing slow immediately. But I've heard that it's the best practice to wait like 15-20 seconds just to make sure that the firmware is completed. We're going to unplug the quad. And literally all I'm going to do is just turn on the TANGO2, and I have one model set up for Express LRS for all my models. It's all the same. Got one telemetry screen if you're into that kind of stuff for wings or whatever, no problem. Right now it's saying 0%. So all we're going to do is just plug in. There we go. Bound up, easy. Didn't have to take out a single screw or anything. Right here is our actual RSSI numbers if you want to take a look at those. I mean, it really could not be easier. Like, I just don't understand how Team Black Sheep has not been able to get this right in 4 or 5 years, but they have it, and there you go. And this does run DJI, so we can't do anything with the actual video transmitter or anything, but it's all there. I've actually went ahead and configured this on Betaflight already by downloading the 250 Hertz Express LRS preset. So it's ready to go. I've done a full diff and dump and upgraded this quad and flashed the ESCs to 32.9. So this is golden. Let's move on to the next step. Flashing your actual module is just as easy. You really can't just get any easier than this stuff. As long as you follow that very important step at the beginning and flash the correct firmware, you are going to have no problem. So let's say that you have this module here. So this is the Happymodel 2.4, and we are doing the Pro Series, and we're going to be doing it over Wi-Fi. And basically this thing, all I have to do now is I have to go into the actual Lua script itself. And all I do is go down to the Express LRS Lua script. This is pretty self-explanatory when you see it. And I'm going to go to Wi-Fi connectivity, and I'm just going to click on enable Wi-Fi. And we're going to see this actually pop up here on the screen here. Boom, it's already there. New device detected. So this is how you would update your Happymodel. And what's going to happen is every time that you do a new build, it's also going to create a brand new Lua script for you. So you're going to want to download that Lua script and of course plug that in and dump that onto your radio. Pretty simple here. Just plug it in, select mass storage, copy and paste it into the scripts folder on your SD card. Go down to your network settings like it says. You're going to connect to this thing. It's automatically going to just be broadcasting as soon as you get it brand new and turn it on. Or you can just copy the Lua script on yourself, because most modules are going to have some version of Express LRS already flashed to them. So you turn it on like I did, turn on the Wi-Fi, and it's basically going to pop up down there in the corner. Connect to it. 10.0.0.1 Express LRS, and then you will see that little page that they show you, and you just dump that firmware. So let's show you how we do that on an actual receiver that's never been flashed, so you get a little bit better of an idea. I mean, the other thing I think I should say as well is that these quads with Express LRS are really flying great. The thing that's awesome, the new preset system and Betaflight 4.3 really just makes a great difference in getting rid of everything. So that way you just know that you're getting the right setup and the right system running every time with the presets. It just makes things fantastic. All right, so now guys, we are going to do a fresh clean and show you how to use the actual web update. So what we have on the bench here, if you take a look, is we've got one of the little Nemino PP ones with the ceramic antenna all wired up, pulled the crossfire out as you can see, and it is in a slow blinking fashion right now. So we're going to go and check out a couple things real quick. We're going to go over to the configurator, and what we're going to do is select Nemino Flash 2.4, and the device is going to be 2400 RX. Check that out real quick. It's not a diversity, not an ESP. ESP-RX. So that is the Flash Nano ESP-RX. So it's actually this one. And we are going to select Wi-Fi, of course. And we're basically just going to leave everything in there that we normally do. And if I look at it right now, you can see that it is blinking in a high fashion. So we are going to click on our little network thing, and you can see that we've got Express RX right here, and we're going to go ahead and connect. So it is going to be connected. So let's see here. It says we probably need to enter in the actual security again. Oh, there we go. It's already taken us to the web page. All right. We got to go back to the configurator, and what we need to do is we need to build the firmware first. So we are good to go. So we're going to click on build, and it's going to go through and do its thing here. So this is what's going to happen when you're doing a brand new flashed one. All right, guys, as you can see, we've got the Nemino EP going on down here, and it is flashing rapidly and in bind mode. So we got to be connected to our computer internet in order to compile and build the firmware first. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to the Flash 2.4, and this is the ESP-RX. We're going to be flashing Wi-Fi. All of my stuff is all set up, and what we're going to do is we are just going to click on build, and what that is going to do is just go ahead and build our firmware for that device. And then once it's done building the firmware, we'll actually log into the receiver itself. Since it's connected right now, it's broadcasting the Express LRS actual Wi-Fi signal. So you'll see that here. So we've got our firmwares going on here, and I just like to take these, and every time I get one, I just put it on the desktop in an ELRS folder so I know where it's at, and I just paste it right over top of it. So we're always doing firmware.bin. So now what we need to do is go ahead, and we are going to connect to that puppy. And the password again is Express LRS, and it's going to bring this up. And all we need to do is just scroll down, and we're going to go to the desktop and find that folder, firmware.bin, and click on update. And if all goes well here, it's just going to flash that puppy right up. Okay, so that unit actually flashed perfectly. The problem is there's kind of like a little bug where it will get locked into like a bootloader mode, and you're actually going to have to reflash it for a second time via a pass-through method. Now, this sounds very complicated, but I can assure you another benefit of Express LRS is the fact that you can simply go onto their Discord server and ask a question, and you are going to get responses faster than ever. You can actually see that somebody is responding right here. My man Deadbite actually is the guy that hooked me up earlier, and he basically explained what I needed to do was to just solder the little bootloader pins together on the unit, and then when I turned it on again, it was a solid green light. We went into the configurator. Instead of selecting Wi-Fi, we selected pass-through, and we just reflashed it again and then took off the solder bridge, and it was beautiful. So with the open source hardware, there is some things that are a little janky, and they will vary from manufacturer. Sometimes you will have to flash the firmware.bin. Sometimes you'll have to flash the other file. Always start with the main file or the firmware, whichever one. Just pick one, and you should be okay. And if not, then you're going to need to flash the other. They've got every detailed instruction for every receiver that's out there right now that's currently supported, transmitter, everything else like that. So I cannot be happier with my Express LRS system thus far. I plan on just go ahead and expanding it to the rest of my quads and just holding on to my TBS stuff and see what happens with them in the future. You never know what's going to happen. Things can go awry with either system. I do intend on possibly getting rid of the Mambo radio. Just never really fits my hands and fingers as well as the TANGO2. I just love that thing. So that is pretty much it, guys. I hope I covered this topic pretty well for you. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Pretty much got this nailed down now, and I think this is like the most current video I've seen of Express LRS that has everything together in one shot. So we will see you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot. Happy flying and peace.